newest Navy aircraft carriers deployed in the Pacific. In a surprising turn of events, the U.S. Navy finds itself facing a critical carrier gap in the Pacific, as ongoing conflicts in the Middle East pull the Pentagon's focus away from what it has long considered its priority region. This absence of deployed aircraft carriers raises concerns about America's ability to project power and maintain its commitments in a region where tensions with China continue to simmer. The departure of the U.S. Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group to the Middle East last week, joining the U.S. Theodore Roosevelt, has left the Pacific without a deployed aircraft carrier for the first time in recent memory. This move comes at a time when the U.S. military is attempting to balance its global commitments, with the Indo-Pacific region ostensibly remaining its primary focus. Pacific left vulnerable as Middle East demands attention. The absence of carriers in the Pacific comes at a precarious moment. Recent incidents, such as a Chinese military spy plane violating Japanese airspace and ongoing confrontations between Chinese and Philippine vessels in the South China Sea, underscore the volatile nature of the region. The U.S. military serves as a security guarantor for Taiwan and American allies in the Indo-Pacific, making the current carrier gap particularly concerning. Pentagon Press Secretary Major General Pat Ryder attempted to allay fears, stating, "We have a significant amount of capability there to include a large naval presence." However, the visible absence of aircraft carriers, which bring tremendous firepower and serve as a symbol of American naval power, has not gone unnoticed by allies and adversaries alike. U.S. Navy stretched thin trying to uphold global presence. The current situation highlights the challenges faced by the U.S. Navy in maintaining a high-demand presence worldwide. With carriers deployed to the Middle East, others undergoing maintenance, and the need to cover both the Atlantic and Pacific, the fleet is clearly stretched thin. Brian Clark, a former naval officer and current defense expert at the Hudson Institute, noted, "The inability of the U.S. to maintain more than one carrier in the Pacific, short of a wartime surge, will require the Navy to rely more on amphibious-ready groups and submarines to deter aggression from China or North Korea." Pentagon assures ability to respond to multiple conflicts. Despite the absence of carriers in the Pacific, the Pentagon has assured that it can respond to conflicts in both the Pacific and Middle East simultaneously. Major General Ryder emphasized, "The thing about the U.S. military, as you're seeing this week, is that we have the ability to surge forces and capabilities to where we need them, when we need them." However, this assurance does little to address the immediate concern of maintaining a visible deterrent in a region where China continues to flex its military muscles. The recent homeport shift of the U.S. Ronald Reagan from Yokosuka, Japan to Bremerton, Washington, has further complicated the Navy's ability to maintain a forward-deployed carrier presence in the Western Pacific. Allies watch nervously as carrier gap persists. The absence of U.S. carriers in the Pacific has not gone unnoticed by regional allies. Taiwan, in particular, has announced several live-fire exercises with precision-guided weapons, including tests with surface-to-air and anti-ship missiles. These exercises can be seen as a response to the perceived reduction in U.S. naval presence and a desire to demonstrate its own defensive capabilities. The situation has also raised questions about the U.S. military's ability to respond quickly to potential crises in the region. With no deployed carriers in the immediate vicinity, the response time to any sudden escalation of tensions could be significantly longer than usual. Balancing Act, Middle East Crisis vs. China Deterrence. The current carrier deployment to the Middle East underscores the delicate balancing act faced by U.S. military planners. While the Indo-Pacific remains the stated priority region, the ongoing crises in the Middle East demand immediate attention and resources. The presence of two carrier strike groups in the Middle East serves as a strong signal of U.S. support for Israel and is intended as a deterrence against Iran and its proxies. However, this focus on the Middle East comes at the cost of reduced naval presence in the Pacific, potentially emboldening China to pursue more aggressive actions in the region. Looking ahead, addressing the carrier gap. The U.S. Navy is working to address the current carrier gap in the Pacific. The U.S. George Washington is expected to arrive in Yokosuka, Japan by the end of next month, assuming the role of the forward-deployed carrier in the 7th Fleet. However, this temporary solution does not address the broader issue of maintaining a consistent carrier presence in both the Pacific and Middle East simultaneously. As tensions continue to rise in both regions, the U.S. military faces the challenge of effectively allocating its resources to meet global commitments. The current situation serves as a stark reminder of the limitations faced by even the world's most powerful navy in maintaining a global presence in an increasingly complex geopolitical landscape. In conclusion, while the U.S. Navy continues to assert its ability to respond to multiple crises simultaneously, the current carrier gap in the Pacific raises important questions about the future of American naval strategy and force deployment. As China continues to assert itself in the region, the absence of this visible symbol of American power may have far-reaching consequences for regional stability and U.S. influence in the Indo-Pacific. Subscribe for more.